Come, let us explore memories versus mindfulness, that the false battle might end here. This morning, let us relaxingly recite the 23rd passage of Prahevajra's vast expanse of the diamond-like mind. I would like very much if we could recite this 4 times, and in between each recitation I will give an explanation that will not only elucidate this passage, but help us understand the relationship between memories and mindfulness. Together, let us relaxingly recite. Time past and time present are the authentic condition that is complete in its own place. Likewise, its path is the same. This is the very nature. Authentic condition can be seen from 2 perspectives: the conventional and the ultimate. Let us begin with the conventional. Every time we breathe in, while silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this, our sympathetic nervous system, ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord, is wired to help us to notice, to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Let us talk for a moment. Let us discuss the contrast between the spiritual and the religious. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. What could that suckiness look like? It looks like Yang's religious or irreligious patriarchy, wherein the qualities of being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel are lauded. Now, I have to be honest, these are powerful qualities, and they will take you many places other than a place of fear and love. The opposite of Yang's religious patriarchy would be Yin's spiritual matriarchy, described basically as the polar opposite of that which we just mentioned. Being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Minions of patriarchy are like moths drawn to the porch light of prestige and power. They can't help but insinuate themselves into institutions. And much like the fable of the Buddha's foolish cousin Devadatta, once they receive the power that they desire but do not deserve, they do much more harm than good. And so people who are rigid and controlling will laud concentration. And when others ask them about mindfulness, they'll create a false equivalency between the two, telling people the only way to be mindful is to focus unflinchingly upon the present moment, ignoring past memories or future fantasies. Sadly, such philosophy flies in the face of neuroscience. This isn't really visible on this image right here, so I'm going to try to do a trick. I'm going to try to squeeze this down and make room for another image. Please bear with me. Let's hit copy. And let's hit paste. Okay, that should do it. Ouch, ouch, ouch. My arthritis is kicking my ass today. Okay, so patriarchy implores us to focus, which is reliant upon the medial prefrontal cortex. It also implores us to analyze, which is dependent upon the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Overuse of these regions not only can fatigue this front area of our brain, but trigger our amygdala, which functions as the seat of both anxiety and aggression. That is why concentration and analysis can never give us the peace and love that we want. However, when we cooperate with our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems and forsake concentration, instead to simply notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, something amazing happens. Our amygdala, the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala is calmed, and our anterior cingulate gyrus is stimulated, thus enhancing our experience of empathy, which in turn is the root of compassion and love. This is exactly why the past is not the enemy of the present. The past is not the enemy of mindfulness. We can notice whatever comes up, even if what comes up is a memory. And now let us recite this passage a second time. Time past and time present are the authentic condition that is complete in its own place. Likewise, its path is the same. This is its very nature. Now let us look at the authentic condition from the ultimate perspective. Yes, every time we inhale, we are wired to notice. But what happens when we exhale while silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb is? Our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third as well as the upper third of the same spinal cord, is wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. If only momentarily. In fact, we could explore this figuratively. The relaxation and release inherent in every exhalation is so potent that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? About the illusion of the infinite azure sky, a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. And so what's really fun is that regardless of what we notice during our inhalation, whether what we notice is a sight, sound, sensation, flavor, or scent of perception, or simply a memory of the past, both during our in-breath could be quite different, but during our out-breath, they are both equally intangible. And so it could be quipped that if inhalation is the seat of duality, exhalation is the seat of non-duality. Now, we need both inhalation and exhalation to live. We need both perception and release to thrive. We need both the conventional as well as the ultimate. Much like a bird who cannot take to the sky with only one wing, we need both wings. Likewise, we need both the memories and perceptions inherent in the present moment as well as their release. Let us recite this passage a third time. Time past and time present are the authentic condition that is complete in its own place. Likewise, its path is the same. This is its very nature. The path of Yang is the neurotic path of insufficiency. We're not good enough. We need to purify that and increase this. If someday we're to know the perfection of a Buddha. Sounds great until we take a close look at the Buddha's teachings. In the second to final passage of the Buddha's discourse on the four bases of mindfulness, considered by some to be proto-Buddhism before the dark times of institutionalism, the Buddha promised that it's possible to master his path in as little as a week. The only way to do that is if we already possess the basic equipment we need for enlightenment. And that has been nicknamed our Buddha nature, since every complex life form on this planet who is not brain dead possesses a sympathetic nervous system as well as a parasympathetic nervous system. We are all wired to practice the mindfulness and meditation that are the seventh, not only the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's eightfold path, but whose exercise causes the remaining six folds of the path causes us to master the remaining six folds of the Buddha's eightfold path spontaneously. That is why some people nickname mindfulness meditation the great perfection. Let us seal this morning's opening lesson by relaxingly reciting this 23rd passage a fourth and final time. Time past and time present are the authentic condition that is complete in its own place. Likewise, its path is the same. This is its very nature. Excuse me. That was a bit of a lengthy explanation, probably due to some of my editing. So what I'd like to do now is shift gears with you. It is Ahsoka Tano Thursday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. What am I going to tap now? Well, let's tap button 9. And so this brings us to the latest iteration of Green Heroine's mantra meditation. We could describe the first fifth of our practice as wisdom's warm-up. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. As we practice this creation stage of highest yoga tantra of wisely leaping over pride's obstructions to omniscience, we bring the circumstantial into the path of wisdom, thus practicing the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant please chant with me. What we're going to do is take a typical idea that's not unusual, and we're going to illustrate it with a simile and then a metaphor. Here we go. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. We can divide the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted between the next 3 inhalations and exhalations. Together. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. Together. May we hear how all interpersonal communication, well, that should be A. Let's swap out a consonant briefly. That's much better. From the top. May we hear how all interpersonal communication or speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. Together. May we feel how all lucid perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. Quick review, if you please. Upon the creases of our right hand, we could count our next 12 inhalations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Upon the creases of our left hand, we could count 4 sets of those 12 inhalations. First set, second set, third set, fourth set. However, a question remains. How are we to keep track of 4 collections of 4 sets of 12 inhalations each? Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. If you've just tuned in, the most efficient, so our sympathetic nervous system is the seat of mindfulness. Our parasympathetic nervous system is the seat of meditation. We cooperate with them by silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our very aware inhalation, and by silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during our relaxing exhalation. The remaining four-fifths of this morning's practice could be described as compassion's cool down. Let us chant an explanation of the 10-syllable mantra. Om Almasha Tara, the swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Tutare. Heroine fulfilling all ends with Ture, with the syllable, so I may all be as beneficial as you. Let's not fall into the trap of treating Tara as an entity of flesh, blood, and bones who exists as a celestial parent. It is far more empowering to think of Green Tara, or the Green Heroine, as an archetype of active love and letting go. Wisdom and compassion in action. dynamic wisdom and compassion. A dynamism we are all born with. It's already have the potential in our physiology. All we have to do is strike the match that is already in our hands. We come to our second collection of 4 sets of 12 inhalations. We count that collection upon the tip of our left ring finger. We could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. By practicing this creation stage of highest yoga tantra, or lovingly leaping over jealousy's obscuring emotions, we bring the mental into the path of love, thus training in the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. May all minds of all beings know possess the joyful enlightenment symbolized by a one-syllable seed or bija mantra. This bad boy right here. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally read the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. By the way, that which we just chanted is not a prayer to a real or imagined celestial entity. It's simply a way of using words to gently guide our own intention along a path that is rather empathetic. So during our inhalation, we simply read. During our exhalation, we do 2 things. We physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. If this is your first time hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. So all we're doing, our job is not to focus, our job is not to emote, our job is not to visualize, our job is simply to read and recite and relax. The 3 R's of enlightenment. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Sowa. The statue of the Buddha at Kamakura, or I should say the Buddha statue at Kamakura, reminds us that every time we inhale, we are already wired to automatically generate a vertical traction between our tush and the back of our head. This traction gently points our face towards a place on the floor or a place on the ground approximately 1 or 2 meters in front of us. Doing so opens our scapula or shoulder blades, decompressing our lung meridians. Every time we inhale, thanks to the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord, we are already wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Pay no attention to the noises in the background. They are purely temporary. The most efficient way to practice this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils. But what about meditation? Every time we exhale, thanks to the parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of our spinal cord, we are wired to relax and release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although it could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. The most efficient way to practice this is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verbies each time we feel air exit our nostrils. Together, let us practice right now. Now how are we going to keep track of our third collection of 4 sets of 12 inhalations? Thusly, upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Let us now bring the interpersonal into the path of love, thus training in the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. What follows is not a prayer to a real or imagined celestial entity. Rather, we are just going to use words to guide our own intention in a very loving direction. Together. May each being's experience of interpersonal communication or speech now possess the peaceful love symbolized by a horizontal multisyllabic mantra mala. So, contrary to the ravings of patriarchy, our task here is not to work magic. We're not trying to become Gandalf the Grey. We're not trying to focus or visualize or contrive an emotion. We're just going to play with the 3 R's of reading, reciting, and relaxing. During each inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite or read the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. During our exhalation, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to strive to recite this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths while physically relaxing as best we can. Now, yes, that could sound like I've just asked you to walk backwards while whistling the national anthem. So please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. If you persist with this once every 12 hours, within a week or 2, you can master it. Om Tare Tu Tare Nu Re Sowa, 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 Om Tare Tu Tare Nu Re Sowa. Om Tare Tu Tare Nu Re Sowa, 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 Om Tare Tu Tare Nu Re Sowa. Contrary to the ravings of patriarchal elitists, the Buddha never demanded that those who would wish to meditate first master the full lotus position. In fact, ancient Buddhist statuary depicts Gautama not as sitting in the full lotus posture, but in a posture that many describe as merely the quarter lotus posture, which is downright egalitarian, wherein one lower leg rests comfortably upon another lower leg like 2 pieces of bread stacked in a sandwich. Ask an orthopedic surgeon, they'll tell you our knees are merely hinge joints. It is the ball joints in our hips from which we must seek flexibility. Rather than forcing this flexibility, we simply sit in this posture as best we can, even though doing so might seem gainly and asymmetric. but persisting with this posture for at least 5 minutes every 12 hours for a week or so. And you too, your body could also return to a semblance of the flexibility of youth. Let us take a moment to review the mechanics of mindfulness and meditation. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. The most efficient way to practice this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils. Let's review the mechanics of meditation. Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and even less defining. The most efficient way to practice this is to simply silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostrils. We turn now to the fourth, fifth of this morning's group practice. To keep track of our fourth collection of 4 sets of 12 inhalations, or I should say, we can keep track of our fourth collection of our 4th sets of 12 inhalations thusly. Upon the tips of each of our left fingers, we could rest the great knuckles at the base of each of our right fingers, palms up in our lap. We're going to use the following recitation not as a prayer, but as simply as a way of guiding our own intention. We might bring our experience of the physical into the path of love and thus train in the 4th fold of the Buddha's 8-fold path. Please chant with me. May all bodies or forms of all beings know possess great health, symbolized by the enlightened archetype of Yedam Drojing Shamatara, or green heroine. So this is Tibetan for green heroine, and this is Sanskrit for green heroine. Heroine is just a female hero. And for some reason, in Tibet, there's no distinction between male and female hero, but sadly in English there is. Very sexist. Sorry about that, kids. So it's simple. Right now, we don't got to concentrate. We don't need to visualize. We don't need to emote. We don't try to be Gandalf the Great. It's simple. We're just going to practice the 3 R's of reading, recitation, and relaxation. It's easy. During our in-breath, we're going to read the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. During our exhalation, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to strive to chant this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths while physically relaxing as best we can. Now, if this is your first time hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa. Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa. Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa. Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa, Om tare tu tare tu re suwa. Let's review the mechanics of mindfulness and meditation. Let's begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to the sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of things. Why, we could even notice something uncomfortable like jealousy. Now let's explore. Now the most efficient way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils. What's the essence of meditation? Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree That which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was becoming as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky in a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Thusly, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was melting into all-accomplishing or cooperating wisdom. What then is the most efficient and easy and sustainable way to practice this meditation? Simple. All we got to do is silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostrils. Together as a team, let us practice right now. We come now to the fifth and final collection of 4 sets of 12 inhalations. How do we keep track of this fifth collection? Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. This following chant is not a prayer, but merely a tool with which we guide our intention in such a manner as to bring the circumstantial into the path of love that's training in the fifth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. May all circumstances or lots of all beings no possess very good fortune or boon, symbolized by the mythic paradise, pure land or vati of a Buddha. Yes, it would be lovely if we all had a home, food, shelter, clothing, medical care, employment, the whole shebang. It would also be nice if all beings everywhere were freed from the horrors of genocide and totalitarianism and fascism. I think we can all agree that that would be a very good thing. Despite the screeching cries of patriarchy, this is very simple. Our job is not to focus or visualize or emote or try to work magic. Our job is simple. We're going to practice the 3 R's of reading, reciting, and relaxing. During our inhalation, we can read the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. During our exhalation, we can strive to chant this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths, while simultaneously physically relaxing as best we can. Now, if it sounds like I just asked you to walk backwards while reciting the national anthem, that's okay. Give yourself permission to have a learning curve. I'll be here all week. Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, 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 Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, 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 Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa. Each time we silently and mentally recite the 1-syllable verb ease whilst feeling air exit our nostrils. Whatever dualities, such as lack or boon, we might have noticed during our previous inhalation whilst reciting silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, could begin to feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just the circumstantial. So I gave you a lot of information. That might have been too much. So let's break it down. Every time we inhale, we're wired to notice, and that's called mindfulness. Every time we exhale, we're wired to relax and release, and that's called meditation. The most efficient way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils, and to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostrils. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9.25 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class, as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.